Vegito, the fusion of Goku and Vegeta through the Potara earrings, a fan-favorite character introduced in the Buu saga, who also happens to have probably one of the weirdest behind-the-scenes histories in the entire franchise, dating back to the very conception of the idea of fusion in Dragon Ball. Which is where I'll start with this. Toriyama only came up with the idea of fusion based solely on a joking conversation he had with a friend and fellow manga artist, Masakusa Katsura. He made a joke that the only way for the Saiyans to get any stronger was for them to merge their bodies together, which stuck with Toriyama so much that he introduced the concept of the fusion dance, which of course was quickly used to introduce Gotenks, the fusion of Goten and Trunks, who would be major players in the Buu arc. But during the Buu arc's manga serialization, the concept of Goku and Vegeta fusing like their sons was one that Toei immediately sought to capitalize on with the 12th Dragon Ball Z movie, Dragon Ball Z The Rebirth of Fusion, Goku and Vegeta, or known by its American name, Fusion Reborn, introducing the fusion of Goku and Vegeta through the Metamoran fusion dance, Gogeta. Meanwhile, in the manga, Toriyama wanted to introduce a fusion of Goku and Vegeta in the manga as well. But he didn't just want to reuse what the Fusion Reborn movie came up with, so he went about making another type of fusion to justify this, to where he then decided to use the earrings that the Supreme Kai wore as a way to introduce this new method of fusion, which originally were just meant to be part of the Supreme Kai's design, with no real significance or special abilities. Vegito's existence as being a replacement for the fusion dance in Gogeta would explain the rather last-second introduction of Potara fusion in the Buu arc. It only really exists because Toriyama wanted to do his own thing. Side note: the chapter where Vegito debuted, Chapter 503, was released numerous months before the Fusion Reborn movie and Gogeta's first appearance, but the movie was in production for months before that, and Toriyama knew they were introducing Gogeta, in case anyone wants to bring that up. And even then, in the English release of the manga, there was a weird thing going on with his name, where they changed his name to Vegirot. For context, the name Vegito doesn't really make as much sense in English. The name is a play on Kakarot in Vegeta, but in Japanese kana, the names are actually meant to be read off as Kakaroto and Vegeta, which is what the name is going off of. So in Vegirot's defense, it is just trying to fix the translation error by being consistent with the Western versions of their names. The name just unfortunately sucks. Certain other translations partly fix the error by changing the spelling of the word to Vegito, Vegetto, reflecting how Vegeta is spelled in English, but the issue for Kakarot still remains, which most fans have kind of just accepted as an error that won't really be fixed, which is fine. Vegito's screen time itself was also rather short. The anime extends his fight with Buhan quite a bit, but in the manga, he doesn't even stick around for a full 3 chapters. Though, luckily for fans, Vegito would be an ever-present part of the video games and was given his now iconic final Kamehameha by them. Though it doesn't end there, because 20 years later after the Buu saga, Vegito made a grand return to TV screens during the Goku Black arc of Dragon Ball Super, where he battled against another Potara fusion and fused Zamasu, even getting to use the final Kamehameha against him. But his appearance here was even shorter than his original one, not even being around for a full episode before defusing. And this is due to the fact that Vegito wasn't actually in Toriyama's drafts and notes for the Black arc originally. He was added into the story by Toei, most likely because they liked the idea of having 2 fusions fight against each other. In fact, fused Zamasu wasn't even meant to be that much stronger than Goku Black himself in Toriyama's drafts, being carried by future Zamasu's immortality in their fight. But the anime makes him much stronger, to the point where fusion would be needed to fight him. Vegito's appearance was kept in the manga, as Toyotaro stated it was something viewers were expecting due to how major of a moment it was in the anime. The manga version of the arc also makes something of a middle ground between the anime and the original drafts, where it depicts Goku alone being able to stand against and do well against fused Zamasu, but the gap in power was still too great for him to beat him alone, so when Vegito does show up, he dog walks Zamasu in this fight, unlike how in the anime their fight was much more even. But, just like in the anime, Vegito's departure is as quick as his arrival. Since he wasn't part of Toriyama's ending for the arc, he had to be written out quickly, and that's the last we've seen of Vegito outside of the video games. To be honest, Vegito's always kind of been something of an afterthought looking at this. He was only created as a last-second replacement for Gogeta, and then later was just thrown into the plot as fan service. Which is kind of unfortunate for any Vegito fans out there, seeing a character they like being used like this. But that's all I really got for this one. This was just a quick going over the weird behind-the-scenes history Vegito's had since his creation. Now, if you learned something, and you liked what I had to say here, do me a favor by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you, and have a nice day.